Yo, we are back with another video. My name is Matt with RAR TCG, and thank you so much for watching. I really would appreciate it if you consider liking this video and hitting that subscribe button. We're so close to 600 subscribers right now. It's actually crazy. The support for the videos has been wild. So can we hit 10 likes on this video? I don't know. You guys let me know. And we're trying to get to 1,000 subs. So hit that sub button. If you're feeling really courageous, you could share this video as well, even before you know what it's about. That's crazy, right? Well, what is this video about? This video is all about how to condition your cards, especially if you sell on platforms like TCG Player or eBay. This is extremely important, okay? Because you do not want to be in a position where you're selling cards at the wrong condition, because that's gonna 100% result in refunds, whether they're partial or they're full refunds. And worse than that, worse than losing money, is that it will result in negative feedback. Feedback is everything on platforms like TCG Player and eBay. It creates a sense of trust and confidence in buyers whenever they're reviewing your shop, whenever they're considering to spend their hard-earned money to buy products from you. If you start to have negative feedback, especially around misleading listings or incorrect conditioning, if people leave those types of negative reviews, it's going to hurt you in the long run, okay? So I really recommend, don't try to make a couple extra pennies by listing at near mint versus lightly played. It's not worth it, y'all. Here's the deal. I've got 3 primary tips. I think that they will 100% add value to your life, especially if you sell cards. And I hope you stick around for all 3 because I'm really proud of these. And let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you struggle with conditioning your cards? Does it stress you out, the idea whether a buyer might reach back out to you, have concerns, be frustrated about the card they bought? Let me know your thoughts towards conditioning down below. So here's tip number 1, and that's to condition before you buy. So whenever you meet up with somebody to spend money on a bulk lot or a collection, I really highly recommend that you, especially for bulk, you pull out 50 to 100 cards from different areas in the 5-row box or, stack of cards that you're buying. The purpose of this is to get a good idea for how the collector took care of their cards, because chances are if a collector took very good care of their cards, then their bulk was likely taken care of as well. And chances are that means that primarily all of those cards, 95% of those cards, are going to be near mint to like very pristine, lightly played. That sounds crazy, right? Pristine, lightly played cards. That's really important, because if you show up to meet somebody and you're looking at a bulk lot and they are moderately played, heavily played, damaged, I want you to know that it's okay to walk away from that deal. However, if you make the transaction, if you give the money to the person, you take the cards back home, and then you check and it's not what you expected, there's no takesy-backsies, okay? Especially with marketplace or online transactions that aren't on like eBay or TCG Player. There's no like buyer protection there. Chances are you're not gonna get a response from the seller. So condition before you buy. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to tell the seller like, hey, I was under the impression that these would be like lightly played, maybe even near mint, and they're more heavily played. Some of them are damaged. Maybe show them an example of a card that you pulled. Yes, you can use that opportunity to negotiate a lower price, but when we're talking about bulk, the condition kind of matters, y'all. Because for Pokemon specifically, people that buy your bulk are number 1 going to be players. Players, I think, do care about conditions of their cards, but they're more likely to buy a moderately played or heavily played card to throw into their deck. But also the second piece of the puzzle for selling bulk are collectors. And collectors that are putting cards into binders and wanting to enjoy the cards do not want a bent, damaged card or a scratched, hollow card in their binders. They want that near mint to lightly played conditioning. That's extremely important. Here is 1 or 2 examples from me personally. So the very first bulk lot I ever bought was in pristine condition. Oh my gosh, this person took such great care of their cards. It was insane. This person sorted the cards, put the hollows in a certain area. They were perfect, and it was such a good first experience. And then fast forward, okay, I got that really great experience under my belt, started to make a little bit of money off of the bulk I was selling. I got the itch to buy another lot. So then I found somebody else on Facebook Marketplace. And I was thinking, this went so well the first time, there's no way it couldn't go well the second time. I show up, person was super kind. And that's the thing about buying on Facebook Marketplace. It can be intimidating, but a lot of times people are just super kind. I show up and they pull out like a tote, like one of those plastic totes with the long white lids on it. And they just kind of hand it to me. All the cards are mixed up. It is chaos, okay? Almost none of those cards were near mint. Some of them were actually, but a lot of them were lightly played at best, okay? Now, I still bought that bulk lot, and there's a primary reason I did. It's because whenever like I just recommended, whenever you condition before you buy, you review some of the cards, I saw some very highly desirable cards in there. I knew that they would sell right away. I always check for that when I buy lots. And then secondly, I saw some extremely old cards in there. One of the cards I found was a float stone from, I believe, X and Y. That card, even in moderately played condition, which it was moderately played, okay? It was still worth I think it was worth over $6, okay? That is insane for a bulk card that I spent a penny on, right? So noticing some of those things can make those more risky bulk lots worth it, but you have to know what you're looking for, okay? And I could do a whole nother video on how to analyze the market, how to really look at different sets and pick out the highest value ones. Let me know in the comments if you'd love to see that. I'm an open book when it comes to bulk and when it comes to what I do. And I love adding value to you guys. It's really encouraging seeing the stories of like, hey, I just started TCG Player. Your content really encouraged me. It inspired me. And I've already made 60 sales. I've already made 20 sales. I made 3 sales on my first day. That is what this is all about for me. That is stinking amazing. So tip number 1 is to condition before you buy and be okay with walking away if it's not what you thought. But there are no takesy backsies, okay? Once you exchange the funds, once you give the money and walk away with the cards, there's no takesy backsies, so be careful. Tip number 2 is to pick your conditioning strategy on TCG Player or eBay. So this is extremely important. There are some there are some very successful sellers on TCG Player that only list at lightly played. This is intentional by them. I think it cuts down on the back and forth from the buyers. You're not getting as many messages about, hey, my card isn't the right condition. Because listen, there are some buyers on TCG Player that when they buy a near mint card, they expect it to be a PSA 9 or a PSA 10. Anything from 7 or 8, they don't consider to be near mint. That is not the definition of near mint, okay? And you as the seller, I really recommend, it's actually your responsibility to review TCG Player's guidelines. They have a ton of resources and articles out there that will help you understand exactly what TCG Player means by near mint. And you'll be surprised that near mint can have a wide variety of different flaws with it, okay? Near mint is not a perfect card. It's not a PSA 10. It is a pack fresh card without any overt, flaws and different errors and things like that. So just keep that in mind. You should read those things. I'm not saying you need to memorize them, but you should read them. Also, side note here is when you do get concerned people that are reaching out to you and saying, hey, this isn't what I thought I was buying. What can you do for me? This isn't the condition. I always recommend that you share those resources with the buyer. There have been a couple situations where I have shared those resources and it has totally made everything okay. That person still left a positive review. Yes, they were not happy with the card they got because again, they had unrealistic expectations for what they were buying. But at the end of the day, we came to an agreement. It was still very amicable. It was very positive. And then on the other side, I would share those same resources with somebody and somebody would send me back a quote from the from the guidelines and say, here's exactly why your card is not near mint. That's happened to me. Somebody literally quoted the article and said, hey, my card does not match this. And I said, I'm so sorry, I made a mistake. Let me issue a partial refund here to make everything okay. And that has, like, I've had 3 to 5 of those conversations and almost 2,000 sales on TCG Player. That's worth it for me. First of all, I enjoy connecting with buyers. TCG Player doesn't really offer a lot of opportunity to do that unless something is wrong and something needs to change. So I don't mind that at all. So I list near mint, I list all the different conditions, and I try to do a very good job of conditioning. And that's gonna lead into tip number 3, which is to condition as you go. Yes, I said tip number 1 is to condition before you buy. Tip number 3 is to condition as you go. This is once you've committed to buying that lot. I have found that it's best to condition your cards as you're doing your initial sort. Remember, you're dealing with 5, 10, 20,000 cards at a time. I do not recommend that you do a whole separate sort just to condition the cards. As you're breaking them down by generation and set, or however you want to do your initial sort, please, I recommend that you are also keeping an eye on condition, y'all. It's so worth it. It saves so much time. Especially with bulk that is already time consuming. You want to optimize and make your processes as efficient as possible to maximize your earning potential. That is just part of running a business, and we'll never get there. There's always ways to optimize. There's always ways to try to reduce your margin or to increase your profit margin, reduce your overhead, that kind of stuff, y'all. That's part of running a business, and I totally understand that. So here's the deal. Those are the 3 different tips. Tip number 1 is to condition before you buy. Be okay with walking away if needed. Tip number 2 is to have a conditioning strategy. Are you going to list all your cards at lightly played to avoid some back and forth? Are you going to, attempt to list your cards at near mint? However you want to do that. It's up to you as the business owner. I can't tell you how to do that. And then tip number 3 is to condition as you go for your initial sort to save you time, increase your efficiency, and ultimately get you to selling those cards faster so you can start making money, which is what it's all about. Thank you so much for watching again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps. We're on the path to 1,000 subs. That's our very first little baby goal on YouTube, and I would really appreciate it if you would support me in that. I will see you guys for the next one. Peace.